Have you ever wondered what regrets people have the most at the end of their life's journey? If that question has ever pondered you, you've come to the right video. Hi, I'm Dr. Hampton, a board certified family and obesity medicine doc with additional training in nutrition and functional medicine. And today I want to talk about the E in the ROPE acronym, which speaks about life experiences. And I think it's so important that we reflect on our life experiences and understand how better experiences may better serve us. So let's talk about this ideal of regret. And I really want to start this conversation by talking about a wonderful book written by Bronnie Ware. It's called The Five Regrets of the Dying. And she learned about the five regrets of dying because she was actually a hospice nurse. And as a hospice nurse, she had a chance and opportunity to talk to people at the end of their lives. And I'm sure you're curious, just like I was, what is it that people regret at the end of life? And I really appreciate Bronnie for doing that because we need to have some perspective. We need to live through the lives of others sometimes so we can grow. So I definitely recommend you check out her book. I'll have a link to it in the video notes. But let's start with the first regret. And the first regret is that I wish I had lived a life true to myself and not what people have expected of me, right? And believe it or not, you won't be surprised. That's the most common regret. And imagine losing your dreams, losing out on all the things you ever wanted to do because you were trying to live the lives other people expected you to live. And a lot of times those people are your family. In fact, those are the people that love you the most, but yet they have their own dreams. So when I think about my family and I think about my two boys who you see here, they were graduating at the time of this photo. And yes, if I had only done what they wanted me to do, or what my mom, who's in the center, had wanted me to do, or maybe Papa Ed, who is to the right of my mom in this image, or even my wife, would I then be authentic to my own needs? And I would argue maybe, but maybe not. And it's better to be true to your own voice, your own view of the world instead of the views of others, even the people who love you the most. The second regret that Bronnie learned about was I wish I hadn't worked so hard, right? And that's a hard one to hear as a busy doctor, medical director, father, husband, etc. So, but that is one that people have stated over and over again. And think about all those opportunities you had to be at the kids, play, or maybe at a family reunion you didn't go to, and sometimes even when people pass away, you sometimes don't go because you're just so busy. So, and you can't get those days back. So it's so important that we pause and we recognize that we need to schedule time for things that are important to us. So make sure the important things are scheduled as much as those so-called less important things from work and others. Let's go to the third regret, and that is, I wish I had the courage to express my feelings. And this is probably even more true for the men who are viewing this video. We need to become more comfortable expressing how we feel, so that people will understand, what we're going through. And by doing that, and by telling people what's really going on in our minds, that may bring more peace to our lives. And it'll also lead to less bitterness and maybe less resentment because you were able to learn how to express your feelings. Now, the fourth wish or regret that they had talked about was this ideal of keeping in touch with friends. And this is definitely one I had to work on. It's definitely one I'm still working on. Thankfully, we have technology. We have things like Facebook and social media. And what we need to do is not just rely on that. We need to pick up the phone. Pick up the phone. We need to sometimes visit people. Yes, it's okay to actually visit people in person. And I'll use the example of my good friend, Pete. I've been knowing Dr. Pete for many years, and literally I went, it's just crazy to think about. I went to school with him for 8 years, and what kind of reconnected us is when I got a call from him one day. He said, "Would you join us for couch conversations with the doctors?" Now, the thing is, Pete lives in the same exact city I live in here in Chicago, in the United States. Imagine one of your best buddies living in the same city and you're not even connecting. But thankfully, because of the couch conversations, I was able to connect because we have roots that go way back. We went to Xavier University in Louisiana together. And by the way, shout out to Xavier University. We heard recently that they're going to actually work on having a medical school, which is really cool. So I wanted to do a shout out for that. Not a lot of African American predominant medical schools in the country. We pledged together. We pledged Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity together. And as you look at this image from the left, I'm the third from the left, and he's like the fifth from the left. So these are my line brothers when we pledge Alpha. So we went through that. And when you pledge together, trust me, you get even closer. And then we went to medical school after college together. We went to Rosalind Franklin University in the Chicagoland area. And we even celebrated the life of one of our fallen fraternity brothers. And that's Pete to the left at the far end, and I'm to the right. So we have been so close. And I'm so thankful that we've had a chance to reconnect. And now I'm really in the mode of let's connect more often. In fact, many of the men pictured on this photo got together and did a little boat trip recently. And we're going to all try to reconnect more. So let's get to the fifth wish. The fifth wish is that I wish I had allowed myself to be happier. You know, this kind of surprised me the most, that people don't allow themselves to be happy. And what many people at the end realize is that happiness is actually a choice, right? You have to be intentional about being happy and making sure you're doing things to be happy. And in order to do that, you have to get rid of those old patterns, those old habits. And it's hard to do that because we're creatures of habit. You also have to get rid of fear of changing. A lot of times we're kind of stuck in our own ways and we're not willing to change. So let's be happier. And the things that we're trying to do as a couple, me and my wife, let's go out and paint some things together, as you can see here. This image is when we were in Florida, Miami Beach. So let's take more trips with the family. This is when my kids were a little bit younger. And of course, we do Disney cruises together. So this is an image when we were on a Disney cruise, as you can see from the background. And sometimes we go to a Chicago Bulls game together. So these are the things that make me happy. And sometimes it's not just what it is that takes to make me happy. What about my wife? My wife is now, she's a big Whitney Houston fan. So we went to go see this Whitney Houston impersonator concert. It was wonderful. And so sometimes you do stuff that makes other people happy as well. And that's totally okay. But what I wanted to touch on is that she's now pursuing her dream of becoming an actress. So I'm supporting her. And by her being happy, that makes me happy. So I think it's really important that we achieve happiness. So those are the types of regrets, those 5 regrets. So I want you to hear that and let that kind of settle in. So what's cool about Bronnie's book is that it gives us the gift of learning from the regrets of others. So we don't have to have those same regrets. And also provides an opportunity for us to not have the same regrets as we enter our twilight years. So other lessons that I learned when I looked at her book was, do not judge others, but instead see them as doing the best they can under the circumstances they currently are living with. Number 2, do what your heart desires, right? So you have to be true to yourself. And again, going back to doing what others want you to do, be true to who you are and what you want to do. I think that's really important. And then, of course, being comfortable expressing yourself, whether you're a man or a female, we need to be comfortable expressing ourselves. So, and if we do this really well, I think we'll be better at living our life purpose. My life purpose, if you follow my channel, is to help as many people as possible become metabolically healthy. So I have to be true to my purpose. And I spend a lot of my time, and I want you to do the same, living and doing the things towards your life purpose. And I just really appreciate the opportunity to just be in front of you so that your life experience is now a little broader because you heard about this book, you heard about, what those regrets are, so that you won't find yourself regretting those things when you enter those later years. So if you know anybody that you care about who would benefit from learning what the top 5 regrets are, maybe you should share this video with them. And I would even go even further, particularly since we're in the holiday season, maybe you can gift them with the book from Bronnie so that they can then review those regrets and then learn more insights about how to avoid being regretful at the end. So I hope this video added to your life. Again, this is the E which focuses on life experiences. And again, to be metabolically healthy, we have to think about multiple issues in order to get there. So I appreciate you and thank you for coming to this video. And as I always say, continue to be safe, be well, and continue to protect your nest.